Check out the wellies as well. These are snow checking wellies.
Have they got cleats on them?
No, they haven't. I should get some cleats to put on the bottom, shouldn't I? Oh, what are we doing? Good morning and welcome to Snow Day. Except the snow day usually means that you put off the plans that you had for that day when you get snowed in. But no, as ever, we've decided to come out because we won't let a little bit of snow put us off. We had actually planned to go out on a road ride this morning, and I got the bike and everything ready last night, ready in my front room. But no, Mother Nature had other plans with the weather. So quickly this morning ran over to Jimmy's, had to fix a puncture in his gravel bike, and then had to get my gravel bike out of the garage and change everything from my road bike over onto this. My Garmin, my rear lights, it's all good fun. So we're now actually on the road a little bit later than expected, but rather than a road ride, we're actually going on a gravel ride up the Flitch Way towards Braintree this morning. This should be fun, and hopefully no ice.
Yeah, no. No, no, yeah, no, no.
Right, well, we're not quite on the Flitch Way yet, but we are on the gravel tracks leading up to it, and there are quite a number of walkers, hikers out today. I've just had a chat with one of them, and apparently they're doing a 26-mile charity walk this morning. And they're not going anywhere, it's all in a loop around Stansted, and they've only just started, so yeah, still a good 25, 24 miles to go. Good luck to them. I can see this being a muddy one today, and a slippery one. The problem with that is that although my gravel bike is pretty good at being grippy, Mark's on his full mountain bike specialised stump jumper with massive great mountain bike tyres on, nice big knobbly ones, and Jimmy's got the Kenda small block 8 mountain bike tyres that I put on his gravel bike, and they are very grippy as well. And don't get me wrong, my Pan Racer Gravel Kings are very good tyres, but this morning, yeah, the rough stuff isn't so rough, it's more sloppy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. What are we doing? It looks very pretty though. There's a lot of rear wheel braking going on today because the front wheel is slipping out quite a bit, so yeah, not much confidence with the front brake this morning. All good fun though. Right, well, we finally made it onto the Flitch Way. A few slippages, but no injuries, thankfully. Yeah, now we get to enjoy this beautiful off-road ride. I'm not quite sure how far we're going to go up this morning. I don't think we're going to get quite as far as Braintree, but we'll have a bit of fun slipping and sliding in the mud. Right, well, it's now started raining as well. Good job I bought the rain jacket this morning. But we are having, no, don't ride no-handed. We are having quite a bit of fun, although it is, as always is the case with gravel, a little bit warm and a little bit tiring. But as Mark and Jimmy have just pointed out, this is fantastic training for Dirty Reaver in April. And if you don't know what Dirty Reaver is, it is essentially the UK's answer to Unbound in the US. And if you don't know what Unbound is, it's basically a huge gravel race, although Dirty Reaver say it isn't a race, it's a rally. And they do 3 different routes. They do I think it's a 65k is the shortest one, and then we're doing the 120k one, but they also do a 200k one. That is not for the faint-hearted. Jimmy, of course, did want to sign up to that, but I think I talked him out of it. I spoke to my buddy Ben Chapman, who has done it a number of times now, and he said, yeah, the 200's no fun. That is just 10, 11, 12 hard hours of slog in the saddle. And as much as we do like a good challenge, yeah, I would prefer a bit of a fun ride around the Kielder Forest up on the Scottish borders rather than killing myself for 12 hours, because it also has over 3,000 meters of elevation on the longer route. I think the middle route that we're doing has got just over 2,000 meters of elevation, so there's no slouch in terms of climbing there either, but it's not quite as bad as 3,000 meters. So yeah, there's 4 of us heading up there in April to have some good slippy, slidey fun in the mud and the gravel, and so this is perfect training for it. Hopefully it'll be a little bit warmer when we go up there, but then, as I say, it's Scottish borders, so who knows, it could even be snowing up there then as well. Fingers crossed it's not. So the Flitch Way that we're on is actually an old disused railway line. It runs from Stansted all the way up to Braintree, and maybe a bit further actually. I think it's about 35 miles in total. And yeah, as I say, it used to be an old railway line, very much like the Coal Greenway that I took from Hertford to St Albans with my son back last year. And these routes are lovely because they're traffic free, they're largely pretty well maintained, although as I say, this one today is very wet and muddy. Not much that anyone can do about Mother Nature though, but they are good fun to get off the road, get away from the traffic and just have a nice, quiet, leisurely ride. And it is quite nice to see every now and then the old railway stations by the side of the trail. A little bit of history as you're riding around. There is actually one of the old platforms with the old ticket office that they've now turned into a lovely cafe called the booking office, funnily enough. And that is lovely in the summer to take a ride up here, come down, have a lovely bite to eat mid-ride, and then spin around and come all the way back down again. So yeah, today is just a nice, slow, leisurely, strength-building trainer one for Dirty Reaver up in Kilda Forest. But we're not doing that many miles today. It's more about a social ride, to be honest. But that actually leads me nicely into my goal. I call it my goal, but it was actually something that I got from Jimmi Nichols on the Cade Media channel and Nick Vieri, pro bike mechanic, that this year, rather than aiming for a certain number of miles, I'm going to go for a certain number of hours. You may have seen, if you're a viewer of Cade Media, that Jimmi and Nic were talking about Project 400, and that is to try and reach 400 hours of activity by the end of the year. Now, looking back at my stats last year, I've got a little way to go because I think I only managed about 158 hours. But as Jimmi points out, it's not a race to kill yourself. It's not a race to try and get as many hours as possible. It's just a bit of a challenge. Do it in blocks of 50 hours, get as much as you can without knocking yourself out, just as a little bit of a motivator to get yourself out on the bike. So I am definitely up for that. And this year I'm going to be mixing in a little bit of running as well, because as you may know, I've recently taken up running and I've actually really enjoyed it. I did a little bit of running up in Newcastle while I was there for New Year in storm weather. Classic Treadway, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking to do a number of longer races this year. I've only managed to run 10k so far, but I'm looking to do a half marathon at some point this year because, as I've mentioned before, Jimmi has badgered me into doing the Beachy Head Marathon, ultra marathon, 32 miles in October. So yeah, I need to get some training and some events in for that. So yes, Project 400 this year, trying to log 400 hours of activity. Let's see how that goes. What are your plans for this year though? What are your goals? What are you aiming for? Let me know in the comments below. Right, let's get some more of this trail shredded. Right, well, we're now swapping bikes. As I said before, Mark is on his big boy MTB 29er. It is a 29er, I assume. 29er with a dropper seat post. These bars look about half a metre wide. They're absolutely huge. And we did have a few problems getting through a narrow gap in an alleyway a bit earlier, but we managed it. So yeah, now Jimmy's having a go on the mountain bike. I'm looking forward to a go in a second. On a separate note, Mark's just said that he's quite impressed with the 30-year-old junk mountain bike that I built into a gravel bike for Jimbo. So that's always nice to hear. Right, my turn. Let's see how I get on with this. We're all on each other's bikes now. We've all had a swap round. This is, I have to say, I know I am primarily a roadie and I love my drop bars, but these massive chunky tyres and flat bars feel absolutely awesome. And this geometry as well. Oh, it's lovely to be sat upright. No aching back, no aching arms. This is fantastic. Right, I'd love to stay on this, but I better give it back to Mark. Right, stopping over. Right, well, that's made my mind up. I definitely want to get a mountain bike in 2025 and do a little bit more off-roading, proper off-roading, shredding the trails. Got to be done. Right, well, Jimmy's just come out with a bit of a soliloquy for his bike, so I said I wanted to get this on camera.
So there's a movie, I think it's from Manson the Stone, Michael Douglas, Sybil Shepherd, I believe.
It was Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd. And they're caught out in the Colombian jungle. They end up there somehow, and they stumble by this local who seems hardcore, a bit of an enemy initially, but they somehow befriend him. I might have got those bits wrong, but the core of the story's right. Anyway, they need to get out of this sticky situation. The guy says, well, how are we going to do this? He goes, well, I have my little mule. And they're all assuming it's this little donkey that's going to transport them out of the wilderness. And then cut to the next scene, this little 4x4 flies out this shed gate, roars out, tires burning, screeches to a halt, and they hop in. And of course his little mule, who's a little 4x4, and they tear off through the forest and escape. I may have changed a few bits there, but you get the gist. And this is my little mule.
Yeah, it's really not bad for a 30-year-old, pretty much budget low-end offering of a mountain bike frame. As I said on the build video, it's a professional branded bike. I don't think professional even exists anymore. I did find a distributor in Essex somewhere, funnily enough, but they don't seem to be around anymore either. So professional were a bit of a low-end budget offering. So considering it is a low-end budget frame, I think it's lasted pretty well. And it's a great little thing. It is heavy is the only thing. And Jimmy has previously asked about putting a carbon fork on it to exchange the steel fork, because it is an all steel frame being a 90s mountain bike. Unfortunately, being a 90s mountain bike, it's got a 1-inch headset. Try as I might, I can't find a carbon fork with a 1-inch steerer at the front of it, unfortunately. Oh, I've picked something up. Hang on, I've got a stick. There we go. So yeah, as I was saying before, I was interrupted by the stick in my wheel. Yeah, I can't find a carbon fork with a 1-inch steerer to convert it, because his fork is one of the old threaded style forks. So I could convert it if I found a fork with a 1-inch steerer on it. I could slide it up through, get the bearings for it, and just then use it as a normal A-head style headset. But yeah, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But watch this space. I've got a couple of ideas of what we could do, so yeah, watch this space. Let's see what happens. Right, well, we're off the trails, back on the road, and I've just realized that I've got a slow puncher on my front wheel. It seems to be holding up for now, and we're only a mile or so from home, probably less than that, so hopefully it will make it home. Yeah, because I don't fancy changing a tire in this. It is now torrential rain. Right, well, there we go. A decent 30 kilometers done this morning, and just over 2 hours. So that is now only 398 hours I need to do for the rest of the year. But I have to say, that was some good, clean, muddy fun. And yes, I did say clean, muddy fun. It's always great to get off the road sometimes, do a little bit of gravel, get away from the traffic, as I said earlier, and just have a little bit of fun shredding through some mud with your mates. And we've all said that we need to do some more of this, so you can expect a little bit more, probably quite a bit more of gravel content coming this year, because yeah, that is great fun. But yeah, as I said earlier, 400 hours of activity I'm doing this year, along with Jimmy Nichols and Nick Vieri's Project 400. So go and check that out on Strava. There is a Strava group, Project 400. Go and get yourself on that and see how many hours you can build up this year. As I said earlier, let me know in the comments below what your plans, achievements and goals are for this year, because I always love to hear them. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this very muddy, very slushy ride this morning, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. See you later.